On the morning of September 11th, 1973, the city of Santiago, Chile, woke up to the terrifying sound of military jets flying low over the skyline. This was not a drill or a parade. It was the beginning of a violent military coup that would shatter the country's long-standing democratic traditions and change its destiny forever. The target was La Moneda, the presidential palace, where Chile's democratically elected president, Salvador Allende, had barricaded himself inside. The forces surrounding the palace were not foreign invaders. They were from Chile's own army, navy, and air force, led by commanders who had decided to seize power by force. This single day marked a brutal end to a unique political experiment and the start of a long, dark chapter in the nation's history. The events of that day were swift, brutal, and broadcast for the world to see and hear. President Allende, a physician by training and a lifelong socialist, refused to surrender. He delivered a final emotional speech over the radio, his voice defiant as he spoke directly to the people of Chile. He told them he would not resign and would pay for their loyalty with his life. "I will not give up," he declared, as the sounds of gunfire echoed in the background. His words became a haunting farewell to the democracy he represented. For many Chileans, and for observers around the world, this was more than just a political takeover. It was the death of a dream. The military commanders gave Allende an ultimatum: surrender, or the palace would be bombed. He refused. Shortly after, Hawker Hunter jets, part of Chile's own air force, screamed through the sky and fired rockets directly into the historic presidential palace. Thick black smoke billowed from the building, a powerful and terrifying symbol of Chile's democracy going up in flames. The soldiers on the ground then stormed the palace, meeting resistance from Allende and his small group of loyal guards. The fighting was intense, but brief. By the end of the day, the palace was a smoldering ruin, and President Allende was dead. The military officially claimed he had taken his own life, a version of events that remains debated but is now widely accepted. The man who emerged from the smoke and chaos as the new leader of Chile was General Augusto Pinochet. He was the commander-in-chief of the army, a position Allende himself had appointed him to just weeks earlier. Pinochet led a military junta, a committee of generals, that promised to restore order and save the country from what they called the chaos of Marxism. But their idea of order was absolute control. As night fell on September 11th, a national curfew was imposed. The streets of Santiago fell silent, but this was not a peaceful silence. It was a silence filled with fear, uncertainty, and the grim reality that Chile had been plunged into a military dictatorship that would last for nearly 2 decades. To understand why the coup happened, we must first understand who Salvador Allende was.